There have been so many updates, news and announcements about RTS games just this last month or so that I will need multiple videos just to cover it all. But if I missed any RTS game news important or dear to you, please share them with all of us in the comments of this video. Even picking the order in which to show you all this RTS news was quite hard, but when I get fresh clips directly from the developers as they announce a never before seen new RTS game, that usually makes it to the top. So here is Crimson Freedom, a sci-fi based building RTS with 3 asymmetrical factions and a focus on single player with 3 campaigns and skirmish. Watching its gameplay, it might give you an impression that it will be one of those APM heavy games, but the developers aim, and I quote, for it to be playable by 45-year-old gamers with a beer in one hand and the mouse in the other. But if you have the capability to play fast, you'll be trashing such players in multiplayer, which will be part of this game by 2026. Do wishlist the game and follow it on Steam, as then you will be notified of its upcoming playtests, hopefully already this November and December. Another upcoming game we had hoped to be playing a demo of during the same November is Sanctuary Shattered Sun, but its developers have decided to postpone its Kickstarter demo to March or July 2026. To make that news less painful, they sent me some new footage, including the Titanic Tier 5 experimental unit in combat. This is just a small taste of what is to come, as each of these 3 factions will have their own unique T5 experimental units. The multiplayer has been given extra development time, and devs have already tested battles between thousands of units. If you are a patron supporter of the game, you can now play the training simulator in the pre-alpha version of the game, and this mode lets you try out short standalone missions, which, while not part of the actual single-player campaign, do let you experience how Sanctuary Shattered Sun will eventually feel like. As some of you have commented on the game's current UI and effects in my previous videos, I'm happy to report that the UI is being reworked right now, with additional functionality and not only meant to show more, but also to require fewer clicks to do the same actions. As for the visuals, there are more impact effects and visual cues for the shields, as well as laser beams, fog and smoke effects for factories as they churn out new units. Most importantly, the environment and maps have been updated with holes that let beam light shoot upwards from inside the Dyson sphere, along with huge infrastructure pieces as well as pipes and metal plates, which all have the aim to make you believe you're not fighting on a planet but the surface of a Dyson sphere. I will try to do a new dedicated video with lots of new footage of this game and maybe an interview with the devs like the ones I did for Dwarf or Ashes of the Singularity II. So stay tuned in for more, and if you haven't already, wishlist and follow this game on Steam. When mentioning Ashes of the Singularity II, I have also made a dedicated video about its current pre-alpha gameplay in both the skirmish and multiplayer modes, which I will link up here and in the description below. The most important takeaways from this very early look at this game and my interview with the developers are that we are going to get a fully fleshed out storytelling single-player campaign filled with characters, choices and proper narrative. Along with that, there are going to be 3 factions, each with a unique spin, not just on their units, but also how they fight, build and manage their economy. That is going to be a streaming economy, while the army system is going to allow us to be generals instead of commanders, as we use the strategic zoom option to pick the best territories to conquer and add the resource spots to our own economy, while constructing new unit recruitment buildings closer to the battlefields, which can grow to thousands of units in pitched battles. This sequel might just become a benchmark again, but this time for how to bring back strategy into the RTS genre. As for news on Dustfront, I can share with you several clips and screenshots while telling you that the dev has ironed out his 3 factions, which are now confirmed to be Industrial Empire, which is made up of synthetic humans, Evolved Mutants, a bioengineered branch of the human race, and Robotic Escalation, which also draws roots from the original humans. Dev has also shown us his late-game experimental rocket manufacturing silo that produces heavy rockets with a high explosive warhead and manages their launches. Lastly, the bandits are confirmed not to be a full faction, more like creeps and map NPCs, while the developer made sure to state that only the Empire faction will get a proper campaign at game's launch. I know you have all waited a very long time for this one, and no, there is no word on the exact release date yet.
A phoenix lives and dies, then rises from the ashes.
This is the same with Defcon 0 Frontlines of Tomorrow, a classic base building and sci-fi/modern military combat RTS, but now its devs have published both a new trailer and their Steam page. So, like thousands of other gamers have already done, I invite you too to wishlist and follow the game on Steam using the link from the description of this video. I am going to be able to show and tell a lot more about it a bit later, but for now I can tell you that it will be released with a 30-mission storytelling campaign from the point of view of one of its two factions. It already looks great in the Unreal Engine, but it is bound to only look better while the skirmish versus AI will go up to 4v4 team battles, and you will even have access to a tower defense mode and an editor to make your own maps, scenarios and missions. In addition to this, Defcon 0 will feature dynamic day-night cycles, cinematic cutscenes, an automated infantry cover system, and more. Another game which was solo developed and slow in coming, but which now has a whole team working on it, is Falling Frontier, and its original dev posted a large update which unfortunately came with another release delay, this time for 2026. At this point, I am not even going to comment on this 4th or 5th delay and move on to what they are working on. They have a demo version in their plans, unique ships with lots of details for each faction, and many different space stations and environments. Most importantly, the combat system has been completely reworked, as it started arcadey but has become simulated with a destruction system, which allows for some stunning post-battle scenes. Planets have also been given an upgrade so they can become fully 3D worlds. We might also get a scenario creator which will allow us to change all sorts of in-game elements to produce our own missions. The vision for this game has always been grand, so I'm looking forward to the first ever demo and reading all your impressions. A very familiar RTS, which hasn't yet been released, but we have had many opportunities to play it, is ZeroSpace. And not only did the devs post a lot of news and clips about it, but they are also inviting us to a new closed playtest for backers this December from the 15th to the 28th. You will be able to play the more polished campaign prologue, versus mode including 2v2s, and co-op with 2 brand new missions. If you are not a backer, don't worry, as there will be 2 more opportunities to play it during Steam's events in February and March of 2026. Besides the updates to the co-op and campaign meta progression, adding a new Merc faction, changing the operating towers, volumetric fog and environmental sound effects, devs have shown us their plans to solve one of the biggest and hardest problems in RTS games: pathfinding, and that of large numbers of units at once, even 1,000 of them at 60 FPS. Their aim is to create different styles of pathing and animations to make infantry movement feel more real and immersive, and if you watch their entire video, you will see that they are on the right track. Now let me update you on the latest developments about Tempest Rising. No, it's not the 3rd faction yet, but new maps, new options when setting up skirmish matches, a reset of the multiplayer leaderboards, balance patch, and a host of visual options to help you figure out what units are on the battlefield, with the addition of the high visual differentiation mode. Devs are also asking the player base about their opinions on removing certain game modes from the queue options in matchmaking multiplayer to reduce wait times. To prevent matches ending if one player quits or loses connection, there are several options for disconnect-reconnect behavior, including AI taking over for them. When playing with or against AI, you can now choose the casual difficulty mode, as well as do you want infinite credits, intel, power, starting you at veterancy level, or doctrines to be on or off. The new maps are for 2 or 4 players, and you can finally move the Tempest rig with just one click instead of several. If any of this will get you back into the game, do tell me so in the comments below. Next, we have a very different type of an RTS game which is coming to the end of its development cycle, crowned with the Definitive Edition, which will be released on the 4th of December. These devs are moving on to other projects, and this latest version of Northgard will add new content but also give us changes to the base building, including additional clans and campaign. Part of this new version is a new biome, Valhalla no less. On top of that, the Bifrost realms are being added to single-player and multiplayer game modes with a new Frostbite mode. If you get the Definitive Edition, the first 3 additional clans unlock for you, while the devs are changing not just the price, but content and DLCs, so read carefully what is included with what. When it comes to new content, the devs of Company of Heroes 3 are not giving up on launching more DLCs and extra 4 battle groups, adding new units, abilities and tactics to both multiplayer and skirmish vs AI. This latest DLC is titled Endure and Defy, and on the 27th of November it brings an Italian partisan battle group, Wehrmacht Last Stand battle group, Polish Cavalry battle group as part of the British forces, and Kriegsmarine battle group for the Africa Corps. The community looks to be divided on the reception of another DLC by what I can read, but I hope the gameplay will be improved and often requested features added, while balance will be restored. The player count on Company of Heroes 2 and 3 are becoming equal at this point, while the last game has far lower review scores. I am not sure what is the future of the franchise, but would love to read in the comments which sequel you have been playing more of lately.
Terrorist forces have overrun one of our bases.
The next new game to receive an update post-launch is Dying Breed. Here, devs focused on polishing the gameplay, audio and interface using the received feedback from players since launch. The Substance D was balanced to reduce its damage, engineers now disappear after repairing a building, while medics can no longer capture buildings. Commando targeting exploit was fixed, super weapons can no longer be used in unexplored areas, and that is just to start with. Devs have promised to keep tweaking the balance in future updates, as well as to update the Harvester's unit behavior, improve UI and add more quality of life features. They have also invited you to leave new feedback and comments on their Discord or Steam forums, where they can be read and incorporated into future versions of Dying Breed.
Piece of cake.
As for more new games you can play from time to time, but which are still very much in development, I can share some new details about Coloniser, which I have shown you before on my channel, and it is a sort of online MMORTS with a unique twist, persistent but still time-limited battles. Its maps are now divided by different biomes, and devs have used feedback and telemetry from previous playtests to improve the game's performance and stability. They have also changed the balance and UI and added respawning for resources and neutral units as well as animals on the map. There was a lot of feedback given by those of you who played Coloniser during the 4X Fest, so the devs have been busy incorporating that feedback to their game. There will be new opportunities to test the game, and I will show you more then. You can also wishlist and follow the game to get notified about these on Steam. A very cool game whose demo you can already play and which received a large update is Tabletop Tavern. It is an unusual mix of gameplay elements which mostly reminds of Total War with its combat, while its other game layer, where you are the commander in a real medieval tavern, offers a very different experience than the norm. The main dev has worked on the guard and auto charge modes, made sure to make event rewards auto collectible, fixed up the arrows effects and their power, balanced the cost and power of gear, and increased the size of the map you can play on. They have also made sure to improve combat with many fixes and updates to unit behavior and pathfinding, as well as starting a rework of the morale system. New biomes and a playable hero were added, along with faction-wide bonuses and unique signature units which these heroes can command. A much more serious Total War competitor, at least when it comes to real-time battles, is Strategos, and it has a demo you can already play on Steam. Their demo has been updated several times, but the most important news is that we got a release date. Devs posted that Strategos will be released on Steam in January. If this is the first time you're seeing this, you should know that it is set in the classical age with over 120 factions and 250 different units from the ancient world. You can already experience custom battles with large armies and several of the game's factions. Each of these have different units and employ unique tactics in battles due to their specialist weapons and formations. Another fully fledged base building RTS game which includes super weapons, whose demo you will be able to play very soon and can already apply for on the developer's website, is Powerplay. They have created 3 missions which they plan to let you enjoy in the demo and have done a lot of work since the last time I showcased their game in my videos. Most buildings and visuals in the game were redesigned to make them more sci-fi but still grounded, while the resource management and logistics systems were made closer to what you know from Factorio, as that is the most unique aspect of this game. This led to the creation of a global inventory for crafting, while dedicated buildings were set up for resource extraction, like oil derricks, mines and water pumps, which now allows for liquid resources. This one is truly going to be different, and I can't wait to start reading your impressions about it. Now I know we are all stuck on Star Trek Armada 2, and there doesn't seem to be any future for the franchise from official developers. But modders at least have been busy, not making just Armada 3 in Sins 1, but now Star Trek Armada 4 in Sins 2 engine. Their progress is understandably slow, as not only is Star Trek such a huge universe, but they also have other projects they like to make. So for Armada 4 they are sticking strictly to Dominion War era ships, and they have already added many Federation ships which are playable in their pre-alpha core version 0.03 preview, which you can download directly into your Sins 2 installation using the handy online website linked in the description, provided by both modders and Stardock, making modding very easy. The Cardassian ship pack is next, but we all have to be patient. I also have to thank my friend and fellow content creator, The Doctor, for providing these gameplay clips. His channel is also linked in the description below if you are interested. Now, this game might not be considered a proper RTS, but it has some of its elements, and it is so interesting to me personally that I keep mentioning it in my videos, and now especially since all of you can try out playtest of Atre Dominance Wars, which launched together with its Kickstarter. And that Kickstarter has been funded in just 10 days, with a lot of players enjoying its almost Stellaris-like gameplay, but in a Might and Magic medieval fantasy setting. As a hybrid of real-time and 4X gameplay, both lets you enjoy creating empires and armies and fighting with those armies, but in a more management style rather than with full control. On the other hand, its map gameplay is also real-time, and there are other elements which you might enjoy along with up to 32-player co-op and PvP modes. There are many more new games I want to show you and updates on released ones to talk about, but I will do so in the next RTS News videos. Thank you for watching, use the cards on the screen or links in the description to learn about more games, and I wish you all happy gaming.